Welcome back. My name is Chris from Journey Beyond Overland, and today we're going to be installing the 9-inch LED headlights with halos from Suparee. These lights arrived well packaged in a compact box. The lights arrive with an easy-read brochure with some very basic instructions, wiring with a built-in CAN bus, fuse splitters, additional fuses, a remote control, the hardware with adjustable springs to install them in, and the lights. These headlights are huge, bigger than my head. These 9-inch lights are die-cast aluminum with an IP68 rating. The original incandescents on our JT had been pretty lackluster, so we'd already swapped them out with LED bulbs, but those LED bulbs had problems of their own. So today we're saying goodbye to the Jeep cookies and installing these. These headlights come with a very, very short and easy instruction section, but it is exactly that. It's very short and easy. It is not extremely detailed, so that's exactly why you're looking us up today. As with any light change out, first thing we're going to have to do is open everything up, remove the grill so that we can get to the lights. The JT grill has 6 plastic rivets that you need to remove in order to take it out of the way. Or in our case, we're just going to cantilever it back because we've got a winch in the way that we don't want to remove. You have to use just a little force when you pull that grill back to release the clips. If you feel like you're breaking it, you're probably not, as long as you removed all those rivets. In case you're curious, this is just our way of keeping this grill pushed back out away from the vehicle so it's easier for us to work. So don't be surprised if you don't need to do this step. To remove those old headlights, all you do is remove the 3 bolts holding them in. This last bolt, because we are just cantilevering this back and we are not taking it off, you can't reach it with impact. So this last one, I'm going to have to use old-fashioned elbow grease to get out. Then all you have to do is remove it and pull the plug out from the factory harness. There's the old headlight out. Now we need to put the new headlight in. Just for comparison, you can see the new light we're going to put in versus the old light. The new light is a lot thinner. So if you're looking at the side, you're going to see the profile is definitely thinner. It's going to be easier for me to put in than it was to take this one out. If you want to know why the incandescents are so much bigger, they require a tungsten filament and a lot of heat to create light, where the LEDs just run some electricity through a semiconductor. But just because they don't need extreme heat to create light doesn't mean they don't produce it. And that's why there's a heat sink on the back of those LEDs. Next, we're going to plug this into the factory harness so we can make sure it works before we do all that extra work installing it and adjusting it. I'm going to use a little bit of dielectric grease. Put it over that connection from the factory harness. Have 2 pieces in the back here. This is the one that works for the halos. This is going to connect to your factory harness. You'll see that there are 3 prongs on the inside. Make sure they aren't bent before you try and connect them. And then you need to line those up with the 3 prongs on this very nice satisfying click. And did it work? You betcha. Now we just had to repeat that on the other side. Next step, we need to open up the fuse box. Fuse box is located back here behind the battery. You probably don't have all this extra wiring in here, so this could be a lot easier to open, close, get to, manipulate. We have all this extra wiring because if you'll see up here, we have a VO switch on our handle on the driver's side. You probably don't have all this extra wiring, so this should be a lot easier for you. I've got to maneuver around this wiring. Pinch tabs on both sides. Lift this up and out of this mess of wiring. Now we've accessed this fuse box. This fuse box is where we are going to connect the halos for these lights so that they will work properly. The next step is to attach the module to the back of these lights that are going to run the halos. Take this wire, you've got the short wire on the side where the fuses are. Make sure you run it down and through the opening where the light is going to go before you hook it up to the light in the back. Take the wire for the other side. Again, run it down through the hole where you think you're going to want to run it. Dielectric grease on it. Line it up. Put it together. Next, we need to locate those fuses that we need. If you look down the list on this particular make and model of vehicle, I am looking at F52 as the cigarette lighter. Reason we're looking for the cigarette lighter is that's where we're going to plug in the halos so that they're working when the key is on, but not when the key is off. So 52 I found is right here for the cigarette lighter, so we just need to remove that fuse. Just like that. Once you have found the correct connection on the pigtail that you need to put in, we're going to put this in so we can connect up the halos. These ports in the back are for the new fuses that are going to go in. So you're going to take that 20 amp fuse that you already removed and we're going to put that back in. And then you're going to find the 10 amp fuse that's also going to go in here for the halos. Now that I've got the pigtail ready with both of the new fuses, the other thing I want to do is I've got this plastic sleeve right here. I want to slide that up because there may be power running to this depending on what you have your settings on in the vehicle after you plug this in, and you don't want to short anything out. Now that we have this connected into our fuse box, our next step is going to be to put some dielectric grease on it. And then we're going to take the cord here and we're going to connect the red to the red. Right there. Now that we have the red hot wire connected, we also need to connect the ground. We've already opened up our ground bus bar that is on our bus switch. Even though we're not running the electric through here, we can still ground it to this because this grounds directly to the battery. So I've already taken out one of the screws so I can put this into the switch ground. If you do not have this kind of system in your vehicle and you need to ground it, you're going to have to ground it pretty much straight to the battery. So when you install these, be aware you're likely going to have to notch that fuse box cover so that you can run the wires out directly from the fuse to the lights.
It works. Works.
After you've run those wires and secured them the way that you want them, now it's time to install those lights. So when you're putting these on, one of the really good places to look to line it up, there's this extra hole right here. That actually goes up on the top. There is a small pin there that if you line that up, you know you got it in the right place. And that'll actually hold it so that you can start your first bolt over here. So we're going to take this bolt, put it through with the washer on the one side, and then you got to put the spring on the back side, and then we're going to start it. Do the same thing here, washer, bolt on this side, that goes on the back side. Line it up with your hole. And now we have to repeat on this side. You were saying? This is why you might want two people to do this, so you don't lose the springs. Now we're flashing from one pole to another.
In closing, what do I think about these lights? They're a huge improvement over the halogen bulbs that we had in here to begin with. They're a good price point, they're a good budget option. I do like them due to the improvement that they provide. Are they perfect? No. And I'll tell you what I do know, and you'll see in the video if you're watching closely as we turn, there are some shadows. And I don't know that it's the headlights per se, as much as it is the shape of the grille, and I'll show you why I say that. The side lights that are here to, widen the pattern, the headlights are set back in so far that I think we're getting shadows off the edges of the grille. And the reason I say that, I have this same style light from Suparee on my black Jeep, and I love those. There's no shadows. And they come out a great deal further, and I think the side lights are not being shadowed by the grille quite so much. Another thing I like, these are fully adjustable. You noticed on the install part of the video the springs that were behind the light. So up, down, left, right, side to side, I have adjusted them, and I can't eliminate that little bit of shadow. Great option for improving your halogen bulbs. Worth the money because they're a fraction of the cost of the big name high dollar lights that you can get that probably don't have shadows. So would I pay that much more, 4 or 5 times more? Probably not. I would deal with these. I mean, it's a compromise at a good price point.
If you'd like to see how these headlights fare over time, make sure to subscribe to Journey Beyond Overland so you can watch us in action as we take this JT as far into the wilderness as its mechanicals will allow. Thanks so much for watching. We hope to see you again soon. But in the meantime, get off YouTube for a while and go out and find your own adventure.